You need it?
What we're like.
Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Cheery, beery, beery, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 Good Shabbos, and welcome to all who are here with us in person, to those who are joining us via streaming. If you are here with us in person, we're going to begin with Ki Eshmara Shabbat. This comes from a medieval Jewish poem written by Abraham ibn Ezra. And if you are joining us online, you can find the link to the online version of the Siddur on our Happy website. Eshmara Shabbat, I guess whether you're in the online version or the book version, it's still page 129.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We will continue our Kabbalat Shabbat song. It's Psalms welcoming the Shabbat day, page 131. Shir Ladonai, Shir Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shir Ladonai, Shir Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shir Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basru Yom Liyom, Yeshuato, Shir Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basru Yom Liyom, Yeshuato. Let the heavens rejoice and the earth exalt. Let the sea and all within it thunder. The fields and everything in them exalt. Then shall all the trees in the forest shout for joy at the presence of Adonai, who is coming to rule the earth justly and its peoples in faithfulness. Page 133. Mizmor shiru Adonai, shir hadash nifla, odasa oshialo, yemino, uzaro azro makocho, odi Adonai yeshuato, b'nei Adonai magila tzikato, tzadar kaso, ve'runato l'nei Yisrael, Ra'u v'atzei aretz, ve'yeshua Eloheinu, Yai lai lai ariu Adonai, kol ha'aretz, v'yitzlu v'randu zamiru, zamru Adonai, ve'finor, ve'kol zimra, ve'chatzot ve'kol shofar, harim b'fnei melech Adonai, yiram hayam, u'melo tevel, ve'yosheva, yai narod yemucha, yachad harim yeradeinu, lifnei Adonai iva lishkot haaretz, yishkot tevel v'tzedek, ve'amim ve'nei shaharim, ayai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai Page 138, welcome Shabbat Bride. Lechadodi likrat halayam Shabbat Kabbalat. Lechadodi likrat Shabbat halayam Shabbat Shalom v'nachor v'nivorah, Yitziyahu el mitzvah, Adonai echad, U'shmo echad, V'shem u'tiferet, Elohim gilad, Lechadodi likrat halayam Tima Shisa Shilzai Virahatu Omalai Yasi Samai Elohai Kimsos Hana Alkala Rekhaluni Mikrakala Yolaya 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 Shama Kabbalat Page 263. Yedgadal, Yedgadash, Shemei Rabban, Yamadi Rakir Deviam Lit Malfute, Bechaye, Kon Yom, Nekon, Ukaye, Nechome Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uvisman Karim, Biamaru, Amen, Yeshmei Rabban, Yetbarak Vishlabak, Vipar Vitraman Yitnasen, Vitadar, Vitalev, Vitalal, Shemer Kuchakariu, Leila Mikovir Chata, Beshirata, Dushekata, Benekemata, Dami Rabiaman, Be'eleru, Amen. We rise as able for our food. 264. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes stay. Day turns to keep going. Go raise Yom V'Layla. Go lelo mipnei choshev. Go lelo mipnei choshev. V'choshev mipnei roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Baruch atah Adonai, Ama'ari v'Arami. Shabbat Olam, 266. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. 267.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. You shall love with all of your heart, your soul, and with all of your might. You shall teach your children to hope, to love, and to know what is right. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad.
268. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol ravcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'otecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'eleh asher Anochi mitzavcha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinantam levadecha v'divartam v'shivtecha v'kecha v'lechtecha ha'aderech v'shokbecha v'flumecha v'shartam lo al yadecha v'hayu l'totachot b'negnecha v'chtartam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'isharecha L'ma'an tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiyot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem. Long ago we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Moshe and Miriam b'nei Yisrael lechanu shira v'simcha rabah v'amru kulam. Our song of liberation is 207.
We
Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Ashkivenu, a prayer for peace, for rest.
Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, Shalom. Amen. Ufos Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, Ufos Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us where we come from right, O Adonai. Amen. Amen.
Shamru, Shabbat is a day for resting, for what the Hebrew tells us, vayinafash, which means to re-soul yourself. So I invite you as we prepare to sing the Shamru to think about what might recharge your soul, what might rejuvenate you as we settle in for this new Shabbat, this new opportunity to make ourselves full. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asor et ha-Shabbat v'dorotam v'ridolam v'nei b'nei Yisrael Ki leolam, leolam, Yisheshet yamin asa Adonai, et hashamayim v'et haaretz, u'bayom hashemi Shabbat vayinafan. Rise as able for tefillah, beginning page 273.
that my mouth may declare your praise.
Yalla lai lai lai,
Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai,
yalla lai lai lai,
yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai.
Adonai, Eloheinu, 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 Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor V'Adorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Gonei HaKol, Ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevigoel Livnei B'nei Lam, Leman Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Gozer Moshe Magi, Baruch Atah Adonai, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayim Itim Atarak L'Hoshia, V'Shivarach U'Murid HaKashem, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayim Itim B'Rachanim Rabim, Zomer Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayim Emunachol, V'Yishenei Afarah, V'Yitamocha Bal Geburot, U'Mido Melech, Melech Menit U'Mekayem, U'Masmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman L'Chayot Mitim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayem HaMetim. Page 276. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Continue on our own, the Hebrew, the English, or your own hearts, private prayers and meditations through the end of the Tefillah, page 282.
Pray for reasons. They do that. They do. Say shalom, prayer for peace. Say shalom, we are saying shalom, aleinu. We are saying shalom, aleinu.
So, we reflect on Shabbat and this day of rest, on sources of gratitude, things that we are celebrating in our lives, family, friends' lives, small but significant things we are thankful for along the way. I want to invite anyone who has anything they are feeling grateful or thankful for or celebrating on this Shabbat.
I'm back after 5 weeks of having a total knee replaced. I'm doing well, so I'm very glad to be here.
Welcome back.
This is a message from our meeting member Tom Rogers. 16 hours ago, her daughter Michelle's daughter Mira, who was very involved with this, had her first child. His name is Caleb Ali, and it's Arlene and Tom's 10th great-grandchild.
Wow.
So she wants to share that.
She's got a minion of great grandchildren.
I will say, Steve and I had a nice vacation in Hawaii, and it's our first time getting on a plane for the pandemic, and Steve's first time being retired and going on vacation and coming back with no inbox. So it was just great. We had a good time, and our boys have been skiing in the Alps, so everybody had a good week.
I'm from New York, and I'm grateful to see this part of the country that's also hosted by a white family who's on here today, and to Jewish community.
Welcome. And I'll add that I am grateful that I finally, after a few days after already feeling mostly better, got a negative COVID test, so I'm back out.
And we're excited to be heading out this weekend to Colorado. My sister and some of her family are going to be in Steamboat Springs, which means some skiing and snowshoeing. And then our son Jeff and his family are going to be in Breckenridge, and we're going to meet up with them. So, and while we're away, somebody has a birthday. So.
When?
Oh, the 28th.
28th, Mazel Tov.
And this is sort of weird, but I blew up 5 eggs in the kitchen today.
Mazel Tov.
But there was no damage.
Okay.
We just had to clean it up. I actually put them on to boil and took a shower. To take a shower and forgot. And when Steve came home, I said, I heard something popping or dropping. And he came into the kitchen to eggs all over.
Puts a whole new meaning to walking on eggshells.
Indeed.
But nothing.
But all good.
Yeah, thank God.
So for all these things, for all that we celebrate in our lives, we say we thanks to the eternal one, creator and sustainer and source of life. May we go from strength to strength, and may we offer our abundant gratitude for our blessings along the way. We turn in our hearts and our prayers to those who are in need of healing at this time, healing of body, healing of soul, healing of spirit. So I invite anyone who has names of people you are holding in prayers for healing. I'll mention Vern Lenz and family upon Reed's death this morning. Others.
Vernon Felton,
And Jane Foreman.
Alan Telford, Marion Hall. My daughter, Wanda Levy and Sabrina Vogel.
Sunny, Ivan, and Kevin.
Cassie, Marty, and Dave.
For these and for all who are in need of healing, Mishaberach, a prayer of blessing for healing, and all join in as we gather on page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Healing be with all who are in need. So one of the central lines from the Torah portion that we will read tomorrow, Va'era, is usually translated, I will bring you out, says God to the Israelites. I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. The Hebrew word that is usually translated as burden is sivlot. And sivlot can indeed and often does mean burden. But in a poignant and powerful commentary, the Gerer Rebbe translates that particular word following a very different and equally valid definition, reading sivlot as tolerance rather than burden. So if you read the word as tolerance, you get a very different approach to the slavery in Egypt. Instead of Torah saying, God saying, I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, the Gerer Rebbe reads it as, I will deliver you out from being tolerant. Tolerant of what? He says, tolerant of the condition of oppression and slavery. We get a further insight into this reading from another passage in the portion, which seems to follow the Gerer's line, in which Moses urges the Israelites to assert their freedom with him, but they refuse out of what Torah refers to as kotzer ruach, a constriction of spirit, a shortness of breath. They are, by this teaching, so accustomed by, so worn down by slavery, that their servitude has become all they know, and they have come to accept it. This is, alas, an all too common continuing phenomenon in a world rife with injustice. In his 1958 address, Three Ways of Meeting Oppression, Dr. Martin Luther King points to exactly our passage from our portion in Exodus as a paradigm or an illustration of the corrosive effects that bigotry has over many generations. He writes, "The oppressed resign themselves to their doom. They adjust themselves to oppression and become conditioned to it. Almost 2,800 years ago, Moses set out to lead the children of Israel from the slavery of freedom to the promised land, but soon discovered that the slaves do not always welcome their deliverers. They prefer the flesh pots of Egypt to the ordeals of emancipation. Some are so worn down by the yoke of oppression," writes Dr. King, "that they give up." Concludes with the song he heard a blues guitarist play in the ghettos of Atlanta. "Been down so long that down don't bother me." This is the type of negative freedom, he says, the type of resignation that engulfs the life of the oppressed. That part of King's message is fairly straightforward, that suffering wears down the victims of bigotry and persecution. But King goes on to note that acquiescence, the tragedy, the pain, doesn't just damage the victims, it also harms, even as it allies with the perpetrators. So King says, this is not the way out. To passively accept an unjust system is to cooperate with that system. Non-cooperation with evil is as much a moral obligation as cooperation with good. The oppressed must never allow the conscience of the oppressor to slumber. To accept injustice or segregation passively is to say to the oppressor that his actions are morally right. It is a way of allowing his conscience to fall asleep. At this moment, the oppressed fail to be their brother's keepers. So acquiescence, while often the easier way, is not the moral way. Dr. King's words in 1958 ring even truer today. They were echoed in a speech that I, and perhaps some of you, heard by Dr. Ibram X. Kendi at Boise State on Monday night. A speech about how to be anti-racist, in which he reminds us that it is not enough to not be racist, because we are all, to some measure, racist, living in a system that is inexorably corrupted by racism. It is our obligation to work to be actively anti-racist and to overthrow and undermine that system, which is corrupt. It must be changed from the inside out. We see it too in our portion. There is a weird, symbiotic, and even deeply dysfunctional relationship between Pharaoh and the enslaved Israelites, because not only can the Israelites not listen to Moses' message of liberation, having accepted their lot as inevitable, so too the Pharaoh suffers from a fatal hardening of his heart. He too can't listen. He too lacks the vision to see any alternatives. And that is a failing that will doom him and his entire nation through the plagues and the destruction on the shores of the Red Sea. Our failure to listen, our failure to rebel and revolt, to seek liberation, feeds Pharaoh's failure to soften his hardened heart. Our world is roiled by persecution and bigotry and injustice, and that will not change overnight, and it will not change even over many decades entirely for the better. But it is our sacred challenge, as our portion reminds us, to never forget that liberation is possible, not in its fullness in this or any moment, but in fits and starts. As Dr. King recognized that the arc of the moral universe does bend toward justice, but we have to bend it. We have to apply ourselves to that work. It is our capacity, it is our calling to resist that tendency to fall into kotzer ruach, into shortness of spirit, even in the midst of what can feel like all-encompassing cruelty and despair. And this is hard. Try it. Try to keep up hope. Listening to the news of the latest reactionary, unjust, bigoted, callous actions of our state legislature, which come too fast and furious to count each and every day. It's hard to keep up hope. But it remains an ethical imperative to speak truth to power, even when power doesn't seem to be listening. May we find and may we blaze paths out of Egypt for ourselves, for our children and grandchildren, for all those with whom we work hand in hand. In Yiratzon, may this be God's will. Including a portion of our service, we rise at table for Elena, page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'adhen gedula l'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kugei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam kelkenu rahem, v'gora leinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai, v'melech al kol haaretz, v'yomahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo Ushamo Echad. 598, 599. Think now of our loved ones whose death is recently taken from us, of all those who have died at this season in years past, all those we have drawn into our hearts, together with our own. You remember on this Shabbat, Yuri Shur, longtime member of our congregation, teacher of music and dancing to so many of us who died early this morning. Others, I didn't share names of people who are holding prayers for.
Useful.
Zichanam L'Bracha, may their memories and the memories of all who we hold close in this time be for an enduring blessing. We're calling them, I invite the mourners and all whose custom it is to rise for Kaddish, page 590. Kedal v'yidash shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma tibrach v'rtei yamlit malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon. V'chayei v'chol beit Yisrael. V'adalad v'zman karim v'yivru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah v'orach ve'olam v'omayim. V'barach v'shabach v'fa'ar v'firman v'naseh. Yitadar, Yitadar, Yitalal, Shemei, Kushah, Berehu. Le'elam, Yipol, Birkatah, Shirata, Tushrakatah, Neframata, Zamiran Yalma V'Yamru Amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba and Shemaya. V'chaim Aleinu Yoko Yisrael V'Yamru Amen. Osei Shalom V'Romah Yasei Shalom Aleinu Yoko Yisrael V'Yamru Amen. The Lord makes peace on high, let peace descend on us and all Israel and all the world. Let us say, Amen. I want to thank our musicians, Stephen Petra and Sandy, and I want to thank Eddie as well for keeping us connected. Those who are watching online, as you're setting up for us across the way, we'll do a Kiddush immediately after our concluding song. For our, do we have a page number?
664.
So, page 664, song based on the work of the writings of the book of Ecclesiastes. As the seasons turn, the song was written by Pete Seeger, but perhaps made most famous by the Byrds, and so a kind of tribute to David Crosby, who passed away yesterday as well. Turn, page 664.
It's a season, turn, and the time to end purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to give, a time to deal, a time to laugh, a time to leave. To everything, turn. There is a season, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather souls together. To everything, turn. There is a season, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time to give aid and grace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything, turn. There is a season, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time of love, a time to hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything, turn. There is a season, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.